Hello, everyone, and we are back. It's been ages since we've done a podcast, and we're very sorry for disappearing like this, but we had good reason. I was recovering from bad health, and Sunir Chaudhary was celebrating his birthday for a whole month in New York City. Happy belated birthday, Sunir.
Thank you, Shruti. And yes, it's been some time since we had a chat here. New York is a fun place to visit, but I did miss my regular dose of cricket there with all the travel and the time zone differences. Back now and cannot wait for the Indian home series to begin, especially those 13 test matches against four different opponents, including this one against New Zealand, Shruti.
So let's dive straight into this then. What do you make of the Indian team for this series, and more specifically for this first test match?
Well, a couple of points to make about the Indian squad itself. One, it's interesting to see that the selectors have decided to name a 15-man squad for a home test instead of 12 or 13. Which gives an impression that they want the team management to take their decision on who makes the starting 11 for India rather than forcing their choices on them, which is not such a bad thing. Secondly, there's a lot of talk around the need for a change in the squad, the need to bring in Gautam Gambhir in place of Shikhar Dhawan or even Rohit Sharma. I am not sure a change was needed. This is a winning squad. They have had wins over Sri Lanka, South Africa and West Indies in the last three series, and there's absolutely no reason to make that change. Why change a winning combination? That said, it's time that Rohit Sharma pulls up his socks as far as test cricket is concerned. He earns his test caps by getting those big scores that he absolutely needs to get some confidence. Since scoring those 2 centuries in his first 2 test matches, he has made just 658 runs over the next 16 test matches at an average of 23 innings. Looks like he's surviving on his limited overs reputation for now.
So I suspect you won't be having Rohit in your playing 11 for the Kanpur test.
No. Rohit cannot make it to the 11 for me because you have a Cheteshwar Pujara who's coming off a double century and a century in the Duleep Trophy. He did suffer a blip in form during the West Indies series. He was also dropped, but I think he deserves a spot in the playing 11. And then there are no other positions left if India go in with a 5-man bowling attack. But that again could depend a lot on the pitch conditions in Kanpur, and I think the conditions will support spin. It needs to be seen whether they will be ranked turner. The situation, the conditions out there will be suitable for it to be called a ranked turner, just the way it was in Nagpur in 2015 against South Africa or Mohali in the same series. Or it will gradually turn from the second, third and fourth day onwards. So that needs to be taken care of. If it is a ranked turner, then Virat Kohli might toy with the idea of going in with an extra batsman, in which case Rohit Sharma might have a chance, but then so will one of Vijay Dhawan and Rahul. That will also mean a shuffle in the batting order, which the captain has shown he's not averse to doing. So that could be a chance. If it plays like how the curator has said it would play, that is, it takes a gradual turn as the game goes on. Kohli and company could look at playing 5 bowlers again. That's his favorite card. And that should leave them with no choice but to have the openers followed by Pujara, Kohli and Rane, with Ashwin playing the all-rounders role, Shruti. Your turn now, Shruti. New Zealand haven't beaten India in a test match since 1988. Incidentally, that was the first ever test match I saw in the stadium. But that's aside, that aside, could they hold on to their momentum here too?
Well, Sunir, just like in playing cards, in tarot we have the 4 kings, and India seems to have them too. So it shows them to be strong, resilient, and have the ability to adjust and command their game. Now, all sounds great, but the kings aren't existing in isolation. Team India may have the tendency to believe that since they have the right ammunition, New Zealand just won't stand a chance. And that's dangerous thinking.
So that aside, where could India go wrong?
Well, India will have to bat really, really well in both innings. In fact, I believe India's first innings will require the most application because the second innings isn't appearing too ideal. If they don't make this count, then trouble will be kicking down the door.
Yep, batting in Indian conditions has been difficult. We saw that in South Africa as well. But what about the bowling? Will that be a better deal for India?
Yes, right. That's one area of their game that should be a pleasure to watch, especially when New Zealand may find themselves having to take a lot more risks to play a good second innings.
Looks like it's going to be an interesting bowling performance by India then, Shruti.
Well, sort of makes me nervous. What about you, Sunil? What do you make of New Zealand?
New Zealand have had an up and down sort of a time in Test match cricket more recently. They were out bowled by a thundering Dale Steyn, who is getting back his bowling mojo in South Africa. They lost to Australia at home and away, defeated Sri Lanka twice, drew with Pakistan and UAE and England in England. And those last two performances that I spoke about, Pakistan and England, they came away from home, and on both occasions, New Zealand managed to overturn a 1-0 deficit to come away with a drawn series, which should give them the confidence going into this series in India. Things won't get any easier in India, though. India is a very formidable opponent at home, and as I had mentioned earlier, New Zealand are yet to win a Test match in India since 1988, let alone a series. So tough times ahead of the Kiwi.
Yeah, very tough times. Kane Williamson should be New Zealand's key. Who else do you think needs to step up for the Kiwis in this opening game?
A word about Kane Williamson. There is no doubting that Williamson will look to add on to his almost 4,400 test runs. He has already been compared with some of the current cricketing greats in the world, and an average of 51 in test match cricket also points to that. That said, if New Zealand have to win a test match in this series, it will need their bowlers to come good, especially the spinners. Tim Southee has been ruled out of the series because of an injury, and that means Ish Sodhi and Mitchell Santner will need to combine to perform well in this series. They did well in that World T20 match in Nagpur against India, where they picked up 7 wickets together. But a T20 game is a whole lot of a different ball game as compared to Test match cricket, and it will be very interesting to watch them go against the Indian batsmen. On to you, Shruti. Indian cards were very intriguing. What about the visitors?
Well, in general, New Zealand's cards are quite impressive. They're not looking to rush anything. They want to understand the conditions and then adjust their strategies, which is a very sensible thing to do. I mean, it is a test match after all. They'll have plenty of time. On one other important point, expect some good teamwork. Each player will make an effort to step up.
Well, sounds very competitive. How do you see their batting and bowling?
The batsmen will manage good partnerships in both innings, but their batting looks the strongest in the first innings. Like I mentioned earlier, New Zealand may have to take a lot more risks to get through the second. Now the bowlers, they will do well in patches and may help India get off the hook, because I do see India being the cause of their own problems. So if New Zealand can improve their consistency, this could be a much tighter game. Now, Sunir, we've both presented our analysis of the game. Who will you pick as your favorite?
Shruti, I think India will be heavy favorites here. I won't read too much into New Zealand's showing in their tour game against Mumbai. And yet it will take a bold man or a woman to predict anything but an Indian win in this game. Are you that bold woman, Shruti?
I can be bold, just not today. Taro is going with Team India. All said and done, I feel India should steady their ship. So it's India for me too.
Well, great. Both of us on the same side of the fence. India is going to win the first test match against New Zealand in Kanpur. But that's it for today. We will be back very soon, hopefully sooner than what we did last time. So do stay updated with our busy season ahead. India play 13 test matches this season at home. And do subscribe to our channel. Follow us on Twitter as well. All these details have been mentioned in the box below. Thank you for listening. Bye-bye.